Hello and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk you through the Sony MiniDisc. Now the MiniDisc has been classed as a flop by Sony and didn't really take off. This isn't necessarily true because the MiniDisc sold pretty well in Europe and especially in the UK, and it was the format that was supposed to take out the cassette and take over from the cassette. So what does a MiniDisc actually look like? At the moment you're looking at the MiniDisc player, so let's have a look at what a MiniDisc actually looks like and how big it is compared to a cassette. So this is a MiniDisc, as I'll get in some light so you can have a look. This is a MiniDisc, this is a Sony MiniDisc. These are the best ones you could buy. So these are the best quality MiniDiscs you could buy because Sony was the inventor of the MiniDisc format. So how big is that compared to a cassette, and what's the advantage of owning one of these compared to a cassette? Well, as you can tell by the name, it's a mini disc, so you get a disc inside of this plastic cover. And what it actually does, it actually acts pretty much like a CD, but with the option to record and erase cracks. And you can also name your cracks as well, and it's got better resistance to shock. So if you like that, you're slightly not too affected too much because it reads about 5 seconds in ahead of the disc. So you're listening 5 seconds behind what the laser has already read. So the shock won't interrupt with your listening and won't interrupt the song. So that's a good thing about the MiniDisc as well. I did have a portable MiniDisc player. To be honest, they cost quite a bit back in the day. Mine was about £300. That was a lot of money back then compared to what you could buy a cassette Walkman for, about £30 to £40. So I wasn't too keen on taking it out and listening to my music with it on the go because it cost a lot of money. So I stuck with my cassette Walkman. But I did adopt the MiniDisc in the home. But first of all, I'll show you the difference in size from a MiniDisc to a cassette. So let's just get a cassette. So this is the average cassette, and then this is a MiniDisc. See, it's definitely smaller, so it's more easier, and you can get really small MiniDisc players about the same size as this, what would fit nicely into your pocket. And the smallest cassette player you could get, a Walkman you could get, was the same size as a cassette. So you can see the advantage of owning a MiniDisc back in the day. It was smaller, and the sound was obviously digital, so it sounded a lot better than the cassette. So you have pure, basically this was the perfect copy of your CD collection, so you had that advantage as well. So let's just now look at the MiniDisc player. So if I put the MiniDisc in, you'll see what I'm talking about and show you how it works. So the MiniDisc goes in, if you can see it, like this. So you just push in on it, it will take it in like a VCR, and it will, the TOC is reading what I've done on the MiniDisc, so how much cracks on there, what names I put on there, and so forth, and preparing itself for recordings as well. I've got a light because it is pretty dark, so let's have a look at some of the options. There are loads of options on this. Honestly, I don't know all of them. I just stick to recording. That's what I use it for, more or less, but there are loads of options on MiniDisc. You can do many things, but I'm not an expert on it. As I said, I only use it to record my music and play it back, and I don't really tamper with it too much. Obviously you can have the option to record in stereo or mono. Mono will give you a longer recording, so like a VCR, it will double the length of your MiniDisc. And we look at the input options here. You have many input options. You have all the digital input options available, and you also can have an input option for analog as well. So that's why the record level is here for. So if you was recording from a record player or just wanted to record in analog, you've got the record level to do that as well. So yeah, you got the play, the record, the fast forward, and all the usual options you get as well. It does record, like you can set the date on a MiniDisc, and it will save the time that you recorded in and the date and what day it was and what time of night it was or time of day it was and stuff like that. So you get that option as well, which is pretty nice for people who like to keep track of when they bought their CD singles and put them onto MiniDisc. You'll sort of know because it will tell you the time and date you recorded it, was pretty cool. So this is what it can do basically. As you can see, I've got the song listers here, so you're going through the tracks and you can see all the cracks on this MiniDisc. So you get roughly about, I would say, 20 to 19 songs per MiniDisc, which is okay. And you obviously, if you've got a portable MiniDisc, you get to choose whichever one you want to listen to at whatever time. And the sound quality is amazing. It really is amazing. If you're recording from a CD, you're going to love this because it pretty much is a perfect copy. And in some respects, depending on what CD player you got, the MiniDisc can actually improve some recordings in terms of bass. I've noticed that with my MiniDisc player. It adds a little bit more bass to it. That's my Sony MiniDisc player anyway. There were other brands of MiniDisc players. I think you could get Technics did one. I think Kenwood might have done a few as well. And there could have been some other brands that did MiniDisc players like this. But Sony were the main people behind the MiniDisc as they invented the technology. Sony invented the technology after they tried to release a digital cassette format that didn't work out. So they went to MiniDisc instead. And yeah, so that was the MiniDisc. It was designed to take over the cassette. It didn't work. The cassette went on for many years after the MiniDisc was released. Because the MiniDisc, I think, was released in 1992. Something like that was the first MiniDisc player. Something like that. It's very early 90s anyway. This model is not early 90s. This is a 1999 model. But it is a very top-end model and sounds brilliant. I'd love to give you a quick example, but I don't want to get done for copyright. So I'll give you a few seconds of example of what it sounds like and what it does when you press the play button. So a quick example coming up, so I don't get done for copyright. So this is the Eternal, and I recorded this obviously directly from my CD player. You can hear the sound quality is amazing. Listen to that, it's amazing. It's really, really good. So really, really good sound quality. I mean, you can't beat the record quality of a MiniDisc. If you're recording from vinyl, CD, whatever, it's a perfect recording. I'll just try and go back through some of these options here because I don't really know what they do. I'll just get my light. So we're looking at it now, not very clear, but yeah, there are some options there. There's display, there's time set, there's music sync, there's mega controls. I don't know what mega controls is. I know some MiniDiscs you could have a keyboard to it, but this one doesn't have that option. So yeah, there's lots of things you can do with this. So yeah. So that's the MiniDisc, and the options are the back are analog output. You only get analog output, you don't get digital output, you only get digital inputs on MiniDisc. So the digital bits to the MiniDisc are only inputs, will allow you to record directly from your CD player digitally to a MiniDisc. The outputs on this one and most MiniDiscs are analog. I'm not sure if Sony did a MiniDisc with a digital output on it. I don't think this one does. I think this one only has digital inputs on it. As I'm looking here, yeah, the record and all the inputs are all digital. So, as far as I know, last time I went around the back of this, the digital, it only has digital inputs. I may be wrong, they may have digital outputs, but as far as I can remember, it's just a digital input and an analog output, which is perfectly fine, because analog outputs sound perfectly good. They sound really, really good anyway, so you're not going to lose any sound quality from doing that. The model number for this MiniDisc, if anyone's interested, let me just flash my light on it. I don't know if you can see it, so I'll read it out. It's MDS-JB920, and I can highly recommend it. It's a very, very good MiniDisc, very reliable, sounds amazing, does a perfect recordings from your CD player, and yeah, if you're a fan of music and you don't want to go into these Bluetooth things that are available now and do it from your iPhone or iPad, and you want to keep your music as, you know, something you own, like CDs and record player and records and tapes and stuff like that, and MiniDisc is another great option for you, because recording from analog directly to a MiniDisc, you won't lose any sound quality at all, because you can do it you can record an analog recording on this, so you got an analog input as well, so you can do it directly and you won't lose any sound quality. You'll still get that vinyl sound just on a MiniDisc, where you can then select tracks. So yeah, you can mix your vinyl collection up and record it onto a MiniDisc and won't lose any sound quality. So yeah, they're really, really good. I recommend them. And it's a shame that Sony didn't have better success with this with the MiniDisc, because it really is a top format and very underrated, especially in the US where it didn't sell too much. But in Europe and the UK, it did sell quite a bit. It did fairly well. It didn't outdo the cassette, but it did fairly well. So yeah, I'm going to give my MiniDisc player here an easily 9 out of 10. It's really good. I had one better than this before, which was a really high-end Sony one, probably the high-end one you could have brought. I don't know the model number of it now, but this one is still a really good MiniDisc. I've had a low-end MiniDisc player as well, so it doesn't really matter what MiniDisc player you get, you're still going to get extreme good sound quality. Just some are like a little bit more crisp and a little bit more better in sound. But yeah, you can't go wrong with any MiniDisc player really, especially Sony MiniDisc players, as they are the best. Alright, thank you for watching. See you next time for some more videos.